we want to do like side characters instead, because that will probably be a faster conversation.
Okay, yeah. So speaking of side characters, I was gonna go with Rocklee anyway, because Rocklee's the man, the myth, the legend.
Rocklee is the best.
Like, yeah,
Dude goes
Rocklee,
hard.
10-10, like, fight people. Let's go.
No, Tintin doesn't get to fight people.
Oh yeah, no, 10-10 gets got. Rocklee doesn't get got. I mean, he does.
Yeah,
but, you know.
I did talk about that, right? When like it was in like in Naruto, whenever everybody's kind of getting like, you know, they're like their arc, they're like their backstory stuff. Like it went into like what are their names, like Rocklee stuff and
Neji's?
yeah, Neji's
Yeah.
stuff. Like you got some backstory with like Sakura and some of the other ones, and I was just like, I remember watching it with Hunter and being like, oh, I can't wait to see like what all goes on with like Tintin, and Hunter was just like,
Oh.
yeah. I'm like, what? And she's just like, yeah. She's like, so Tintin's a girl, so she doesn't get character development. I was just like, oh, so we have a running joke about Tintin, because it's like they really could just replace her with, just instead of her having any dialogue, she just hugs up and she's like, girl, 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 girl,
Go.
because that's all they use her for. It's just like, here's Tintin, she's a girl.
Basically.
Anyway, moving on.
Basically, yeah. No, like she gets got dirty when like you have Sakura and Ino and Tamari actually doing cool shit.
Getting backstory, like actually like, oh, I'm pushing myself to the limit, I'm doing all this, and it's like, cool, what about you, Tintin? She's like,
I got weapons.
I don't get any of that. I got these scrolls, and then like weapons come out.
Yeah.
It's never gonna come up again.
Ever. Get wrecked.
I'm not picking you up again.
He's like, come on,
Go away.
let's go, do it.
It's almost as bad as like the creator of Dragon Ball, when somebody's like, what about Launch? And he's like, who? Oh yeah, forgot about
blue
her.
hair chick. Yeah, I got Bulma. I don't need another blue hair chick.
I already checked that one off. You guys went down the boxes. Okay, so Sevi, who is your one of your favorite side characters, I guess?
So one of my who?
Kuwabara.
He's pretty great.
I mean, you do put pompadours in anything you could put on.
Listen, when you're playing a game and you can just rock a giant pompadour,
You have
how
to.
are you not gonna make Kuwabara? Of the stuff I've watched, like I think here recently, it's kind of been, I think, more on the forefront of my mind. Like I will agree, Rocklee, super solid.
Yeah.
Probably like one of the best things about that show. So what's this? From I don't know if I want to say it's like one of my favorites, because like My Hero has so many like supporting characters, and like they do such a good job of like making them well-rounded, that like Todoroki, like I really dug like how he kind of started off, and like you really saw like a lot of that growth in him, and he went from being just like this dude's a prick to like getting a better understanding of why he is how he is and why he's doing what he's doing, and then realizing that the way he was acting, he wasn't acting any better than his own father. And then
Which
him
is like father's like son, because you meet his dad and you're like, that guy's a prick.
yeah
And then you like him at the end of the show.
So yeah, and then I think he like comes to that realization where he's just like, I'm not acting any better.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like just striving to be better than like All Might, which is what his dad's always done, he's just striving to be better than his dad without using the powers he got from his dad. And then like to see how he like really grows and gets to the point where he's just like, it's a part of me, but like I still don't have to like my dad, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really appreciated that like that character growth he got. But like just like straight up side character. And I will say, like, at first I wasn't a huge fan, but like the interaction that the main character had with him, like I really like loved this character was Todoh from JJK.
Hell yeah.
Like the whole like flashback scene he has
They've been
of
school
him being
together.
in middle school, and then like with the Itadori, he's like we did back in middle school. He's like, yeah, and then afterwards he's just like, we didn't know each other. What are you talking about? He's
we
like, how are you
just
doing
met."
this? How can you do this to me, brother? We're best friends. He's just like, get away from me, dude.
Was it
But
like
like
the
he
only?
is just so adamant about like we grew up together, we're best friends. Like he has this whole thing in his mind about all that, but like he is like
You-
crazy strong, but like the way that he's just like in the middle of all this, like teaching Itadori and like making him better, and then like how well he's like working with him.
That fucking
I just
fight.
yeah, that's actually on one of my things for the top fights as well.
Hell yeah.
But like he is one of those that like he's so important with like in the story itself, but he's also just like it's such a like in a stressful like crazy hectic situation, he's still like a bit of a comic relief.
Yeah.
Because it's just stuff's happening and like it's just like I couldn't help but laugh at it.
Yeah.
But it's just like I'm
Type of woman.
laughing and it's just like, you know, Fugashaki, I think was his name. You know, he's like dying and stuff, has this thing this like a seed sticking out of him and all this stuff. But you got Todoh over there having a flashback that he's created in middle school with his best friend Itadori, and the girl he likes was just some idol.
Yeah.
You were
And he
there for
thinks
me
this
when I
is
was
like what's
sad.
real. It's just like one of those things where it's just like the fact that he can turn around and make me laugh like that. I was just like, oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And then beat the shit out of somebody like right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I it's one of those things that like I don't feel like I would have enjoyed the show nearly as much if he was not a part of it.
Right.
And I think that's what makes him like such a good side character in my mind.
Yeah. He's really high up there. He's unique in that way
And I'm
as
sure
well.
there are others that like I'm sure like if I think back, you know, I'll probably like message you guys like in 3 days. I'll be like, this guy too.
Be like, okay, great. We'll bring it back up again next
I'm
week.
sure I'll come up with more and stuff, but I think one of the big things for a side character and like how it ranks is trying to imagine what the series would be like without that side character being in it.
Right.
And I'm really counting like actual side characters, because like I would even go so far as saying, you know, like people like you know, your like edgelords,
Okay.
yeah, that guy, like Sasuke, or like you know, your Idas and stuff like that, or more of like not necessarily like a side character, but like a secondary one almost.
And they
Because
also like Sasuke plays as the antagonist in parts of the show as well.
yeah, so like I feel like there are some that like but like, you know, Rocklee I feel is like true side character.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he has some stuff to him and stuff like that, but he's never really part of like the main group for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I think a good side character is one that like the show takes a considerable dip if you try to think about that show not having that character involved. And for me, like I enjoy JJK, but like, you know, the last half of that show, like I do not think I would enjoy it nearly as much had it not been for Todoh.
Yeah, Todoh is like one of the standouts of that show. Like, he's super easy. Like, he's the funniest and yet like one of the strongest characters in that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, which is like, and that's why I don't feel like I could go with like Gojo, because like so much is centered around him being like the just strongest person ever.
Yeah.
Because like it's pretty clear like he's like one of the strongest like jujutsu sorcerers around.
Yeah.
Because like there's an entire thing where it's just like, we're gonna do all this stuff. Anybody else can come in, but we need this one field that will only keep out Gojo.
This one guy, yeah. They
so it's kind of like
talk about that in the prequel movie in manga, like what his actual abilities are, and like a lot of it's inherited, which is why he's so big.
yeah, because it kind of reminds me of One Punch Man to a certain extent, where like so much of like the build up of like what are they gonna do in One Punch Man is just like, what can this person do to delay everybody else dying until he gets there?
Yeah.
Because like once he gets there, it's not gonna be a fight. Like it's over.
Yeah. It's done.
Right.
So I feel like Gojo is like kind of like integral.
Until you get to.
What were you saying?
But I was saying because like on One Punch, it's like it's literally until like the final boss like does it. It just ends.
Yeah. So like I feel like Gojo is like too instrumental in like the story and like the world of it all for him to be just kind of like a side character in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you could take Todoh out and like you would still have the majority of that show there with it. Like you could take Rocklee out and you would still basically have like all of Naruto and stuff. Some things would be missing, but like if you took Gojo out, like huge plot points are gone. So like that's why I think I have a hard time considering him like a side character.
Right. Fair.
But all right, Dean, what you got for side characters?
Well, it's like kind of like I had one in my mind, but neither one of y'all have seen One Piece. It's like Buggy the Clown. It's one of my favorite characters of the entire show.
You
And
can
it's
go
like-
with the Fugly Clown if you want.
And it's like there's a certain, and it's like when you explain it, like how would this show be without this person? Like he's not in it like a whole like good chunk of the show, but the one arc that he comes back in, it's like it's in a prison, and it's the only reason like Luffy escapes. So like technically, if he wasn't in that show, like he wouldn't be able, he'd be fucking dead.
Yeah.
But for the
like-
most, I think I could still see him being a side character because there's the whole thing with Rock Lee fights Bone Dude when nobody else can. It's just because his
Yeah.
medicine
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
fucking drunk.
gets mixed up and he gets drunk, and then like guys like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, he's drunk.
Yeah.
That's not good.
We gotta get out of here. Like he is like fucking unmanageable if he gets drunk. Like this guy's fucked. We just need to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty like dependent thing
Like a
on
Drunken Fist. Yeah.
yeah, like in the show. But for the most part, the show could have gone without.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that would still be your Fugly Clown could still be a what was his name?
Buggy the Clown.
Buggy.
Buggy. Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like, you know, Buggy the Clown could still be considered that, like, you know, if he had one moment in
Mhm.
the show where it was like a linchpin type thing, like, yeah, I think that's still fine. But for the most part, he was just kind of a supporting character, side character.
I was also like trying to bring it back to like something that all of us have seen, and then I came up. I was like, "Oh, Killua," but then Cody hasn't fucking seen Hunter x Hunters, and then I was like, "Oh, Kamina from Gurren Lagann," but you haven't fucking finished it. So it's like, well, fuck.
Even then, like
Correct.
Killua, I would even say is like,
He's more popular than Gon.
well, I would say he's more of a like a
Main,
secondary protagonist sort of a thing. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't count
more than
like,
a supporting character. Yeah,
yeah, like I wouldn't count Ida.
like maybe
You know.
Leorio. It would be more of a supporting character because he goes and comes.
After the first season, yeah. Like in first season, I think he was still part of like that main group.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, they're just like, all right, we're gonna go do stuff. One's just like, I'm gonna go take down an entire criminal organization.
Oh, Karapika?
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm gonna go study to be a doctor.
I'm gonna go be a doctor.
Like, okay. And they come
And he has-
into him, and then he's just like, fuck, I'm weak.
But then he gets that punch at the end of the show.
I need to go back and watch.
Punches his dad in the face. It's pretty good. But yeah, so yeah, I was gonna do. So I picked Kamina as my solid choice because especially whenever you explained, it's a secondary character, it's a supporting character, and the show wouldn't be the same without him. That show wouldn't fucking exist without Kamina, you know?
Yeah.
Because he
Kami's very
literally
central.
gives. Hey, it's central to everything. Like he's the backbone of Simone's whole personality, like his whole belief in himself. He's the most like emotionally supportive character. I would
for the whole series.
Yeah, like the linchpin. Like, he's not in it the whole series, but like there's the whole beginning. He gives Simone his confidence. He gives him to believe in himself, and just Kamina himself is probably like one of the most uplifting bro types of characters, where the dude just gives nothing but support no matter what. And 10 out of 10 solid bro.
Yeah, Kamina is the quintessential bro.
It's the quintessential bro of all anime.